Let's get cracking, ladies and gentlemen. It was Zambia versus Mozambique at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Dola in our opening qualifying game for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. So, Watson Nyirenda was taking on Abel Zabiye, his counterpart from Mozambique, where big 3 points were up for grabs. Now, the consolation or the silver lining going into this game is that Zambia has not been beaten by the Mambas in more than 3 decades, and because of that, Abel Xavier was coming here probably to, well, change the modus operandi and the status quo. And so the two men had an opportunity to make lineups. Let's have a look at them and their selections. Let's just get to discuss this one, Davis. 4-2-3-1 we went. Chisambalungu in there, Collins Mbesuma in there, Kalaba in there, Foyotembo in there. Yes, we wanted to attack. Full throttle, it looked like. What are your reflections on that selection?
No, I think the selection was good based on the players that were there available for the day because they prepared, and the coach obviously had the game plan, and he had everything to do with the team. So it was something that he had like his weapon.
Okay, now you're very familiar with the Mambas and how they play because of the number of players that play in South Africa. 4-4-2, Abel Zabiye. And I'm sure there was just going to be something hidden about that one. Elias Gaspar Pelembe playing as a second striker. Sometimes we've seen him deployed in the wide positions. Did that say something about how the game was probably going to go?
No, but Elias has been a good player over the years that he's played in South Africa. He's an influential player that can click and make things happen. And he's comfortable, and the boy is confident. And he's been in the national team for Mozambique, I think, for quite a number of years. So he's one of the experienced players that they have. And being in South Africa, he's won, I think, championship with Super Sport, Sundowns. And now he's going to Vets, and they won also the same. So it's not a player that is you can say he cannot do anything at that particular moment. He can make things happen.
Okay, so that was the selection. Looked okay, huh?
Yeah, looked okay, but I think for me, I'm sure Zita, you're going to agree with me. You know, when I looked at the first starting lineup, I saw a lot of our players, most of them are not playing. They are not active. I'm sure Coach Davis here is going to agree.
So you're already worried?
Yes.
You already told your wife to put hot water on the side?
No, I wasn't at home, actually.
Okay, so no further questions. Let's get into the tactical details. Let's look at Zambia's opening offensive shape in this game. Because Zambia, of course, being the home side, we expected them to take the game to the Mozambicans. Let's look at Zambia's opening offensive shape and just look at what we're trying to do in terms of our attacking prowess. Now, if you look at that lineup and the formation that we chose, in terms of attack, there was always going to be a little matter about our offensive shape. You've got Chisambalungu playing wide left. You've got wearing shirt number 11, of course. Number 10, Foyotembo up there, where probably you want him to be. But where I wanted to start the conversation about our formations in this game, Davis, is that little circled area. Now, you've got Collins Mbesuma, who's put right in the middle of the pyramid. So before the ball gets to Mbesuma, it has to get past the defensive midfielder. And if you play along, chances that the defensive midfielder is going to win the second ball very high. But 2v1 there, and if you look at the game, I don't know, it just didn't click. Then you look at our back four. Salulani Piri, the number 7, comes here to try to collect the ball. But look at where Kondwani Mtonga, the number 15 in orange, is. Center circle. His central midfield partner is on the edge of the area because Zambia are trying to play out. And look at Mozambique, tucking in and closing the spaces. Ratifo and Pelembe, 2 players, made it impossible for us to make forward passes, Davis.
No, I think they had a game plan because to me what I can say is, you see, like you said in the beginning, we've always been beating Mozambique. But you see, football's changed. Obviously, they've sat down and start analyzing where do we go wrong when we play against Zambia. Maybe we sit back in defense and try to defend and soak up the pressure. But this time around, they said, look, okay, what if we try something different? We press them high, we push players on them and see, because obviously, even us, last time we played them, they packed a bus. They had one striker. Whenever they won the ball, they had to hit that striker. It was strong, and they push players up front. And then when they lose the ball, they all coming behind and make up a block. But what they did now, I think they thought, look, we haven't achieved anything by doing this. So what if we try something different by doing what? Let's play an open game, attacking them and see what they can give. But when they tried that, they could see even Zambia created the opportunities, but they couldn't score. As the game progressed, they became stronger and stronger, started believing that they can start something.
Okay, so now, Dennis, you look at that. The team is trying to play out on the edge of the area. Salulani, maybe he's doing the correct thing. Comes right in the middle of the central defenders because they have created that space. But where Kondwa is, where Chisamba is, where Fire is, where Renford is, and where Mbesuma is just a recipe for saying, gentlemen, put that ball on the next flight to this half.
Well, I think I agree with what Coach Davis is saying here. Because, we've been beating them all the time. And this time they came out all out. And this time that they came out all out to come and beat us, we went with two defensive midfielders. I don't know, Coach Davis, maybe you can disagree with me if you've played this team for some time now. You've played against Mozambique for quite some games.
No, but okay, when you look at that lineup for Zambia, it's not about having two central defenders.
Why? But we've never. Okay, no, just agree with me.
Yes,
we've never played two defensive midfielders.
Okay, no, gentlemen. Okay, let's do this. We are coming to that. Right now, yes. I want us to deal with our shape when we are going forward. You've got Collins Mbesuma on the edge of the opponent's 18, waiting for the ball. But the team is having problems playing out and getting the ball to him. And I think that was the fundamental problem. We'll get to that one because Watson Nyirenda ran a change that did away with the two defensive midfielders. Yeah. Now, with hindsight, we will have to discuss and see the pros and cons of that decision. Now, if you are playing on the edge of your area and everyone has gone forward, and Mozambique have got two banks of 4, eventually you're going to be forced to play long. And perhaps when you look at the statistics in this game, one shot on target the whole of the first half. And it was from a free kick, Dennis.
Yeah, I think we didn't do well in the first half. I think we improved in the second half. Because I think in the first half, I don't know, we thought we just have to win, we just have to win. We were so much in the pressure. We didn't take our time, like to make slow build-ups and stuff. It wasn't there, but in the second half, it was excellent. After we came in the second half, unfortunately, we conceded.
Okay, now there's also a little matter about the positioning of Renford Calabar, played in a central role. Haven't seen him play that role for the national team in a long time, but it probably changes the trajectory from the Renford Calabar we know. And playing second striker to Collins, these are players you've worked with for a great deal, Davis. Second striker, Renford Calabar. Or did we need to give him that usual space he likes, wide, so that he can bend them going forward?
Renford always, even if you play him in the central attacking position, what he does, he always drifts to the left-hand side. I think he's more comfortable playing on that position. And then what I would say is, if you look at that combination of the players that were there, if you talk about Chisamba, you talk about Fuayo, you talk about Renford, you talk about Mbesuma, these players, in terms of defense, they won't give you nothing. They cannot defend, but they can attack. That's why the coach had to place two defensive midfielders, is to supplement their attack defensive abilities.
Dennis,
I want to come in. Coach Davis has said what I wanted to say in the first place. It's like our Zambian attack. We have Fuayo, Besuma, Chisamba, and we need two defensive midfielders who will be there always to supplement, because we know Fuayo goes
Can't defend.
yeah, he can come back to defend.
Yes.
That's the thing. So I think in the first place, Wada did a good thing, but it just didn't work out because we were at home. We needed a result.
So the first thing, so the gentlemen are saying Wada's first hunch was correct. Let's look at that one. He quickly dismantled the 4-2-3-1 and went 4-1-4-1 with the introduction of John Chingandu. Let's just have a look at the positioning of John Chingandu in this game and what it meant going forward. Now, look, we're still trying to play out. Kondwa is still coming close to the central defense to try to collect the ball. And we're playing square passes at the back. The back line is just exchanging passes. But there's the shot number 3, John Chingandu, he's come on. But again, there's no central link going forward. And look at the positioning of the following. Mr. Chisambalungu, Mr. Collins Mbesuma, Mr. Renford Kalaba, actually just on the edge of the Mozambican penalty area. And Fire Tembo, they are clearly not going forward. And even in transition, when you look at that one, to what extent will the two defensive midfielders play cover? Because you're looking at the entire axis of the pitch. What are they covering for? Can they cover for Chisamba and Fuayo at the same time and make it possible for them to walk back and not track their men, David?
No, but what if you look at the formation, the way they line up, one, what they did was, when we have the ball, obviously the central midfielders cannot stay square. One has to pull up to supplement the attack, and the one has to stay the pivot to protect the defense. So when we lose the ball, then it comes back to two central defenders. So why? It's because we don't want them to penetrate through the middle. We want to force them to go on the side.
But I'm also looking at that line. Look at where Mbesuma, Chisamba, Renford, and Fuayo choose to be, because you are asking your teammates to invariably play long. Because where's the link play? Where's the link between midfield and attack? Looking at the team shape that we had in the first game, and perhaps it goes a long way to explain why we had the offensive challenges we had.
Yeah, but if you look at the team that was there at that particular day, is if you look at Fuayo, Mbesuma, Chisamba and Renford. I think Renford has scored some goals for his team. Where Mbesuma had been injured for quite some time. Yeah. He was just coming up. And then he didn't play even for his team. I think he was on a POP for quite a period of time in South Africa. And then Renford has played for TP Mazembe. And then when you talk about Chisamba, amongst all these players that we're talking about, they haven't had a good, I think, in terms of scoring goals. Chisamba, I don't know how many goals he scored. Fuayo, Mbesuma, yes, is a prolific scorer, but at the moment he was injured, which means he's coming back into the game. So depending on him for that was, I think, a massive to expect from him.
Leading the line alone, and Davis were part of the team that saw Kalengo and Mbesuma play up front. Mbesuma is the second striker, Kalengo playing up top. That's the last time when we actually won against Kenya. You were there. But Dennis, when you look at the dynamics, the John Chingandu factor now, after all is said and done, yes, we've done away with what everybody thought was controversial. Do away with the two defensive midfielders. We've got an attacking midfielder in his place. What reward did we get?
Oh, I thought Coach Wada, the way he started, that was okay. It was okay in a sense that obviously he had something that he was looking for. His philosophy, obviously. This is what I want to see in my team. But in a situation whereby you are forced to make a change, it's so difficult. I'm sure, coach, here you agree with me. It's very difficult. You are forced to make a change.
First half change, by the way. But I'm thinking, to what extent would we have thought Salulani? We've seen Salulani playing a positive role in central midfield.
Yeah.
To what extent should we have gone and said, Salulani,
I'm always
go forward, Kondwani, sit.
Yeah, I'm always watching Polokwani. I watch Salulani every day. I watch Rodrick Cow. I watch these boys because I take in, because I like the boys. It's not that I want Salulani to play, no, but I know what he can do. But if we had stayed like that, and then maybe on a later stage we decide, because Mbesuma wasn't 100% fit, and then you are forced to make a change. You remove Mbesuma, put in someone, and then right at half time, after removing, is it Sarulan? Right at half time again, you have to remove Mbesuma. What of now at a later stage?
Yeah, so
what do you do?
What happened? Was it possible to tweak it tactically, Davis, and say, okay, Salulani, play the role that we think John Chingandu should actually come in to play? Because from a statistical point of view, we didn't reap any dividends from John Chingandu's introduction. One shot on target, the whole half.
No, but listen, they prepared in training, so which means whatever they planned at that day did not work out. So you have to revert to plan B.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to go 4-1-4-1, yes, and that's why my question is, if you're going to go 4-1-4-1,
if you look at when the coach pulled out Mbesuma for
Dave Duck,
what it meant was, if you look at the defense, I think the defenders were compact together. They didn't allow Mbesuma, because Mbesuma is not mobile. It's not mobility. So what the coach decided was to bring in somebody who is mobile, who's going to make those runs, where now defenders have to make decisions. Some they're going to go in a wrong decision to create scoring opportunities by movement. So that's why coach had to revert to, instead of having a striker who's going to be stagnant at one point, now bringing in a mobile striker who's going to be doing runs to create opportunities for others.
Okay, let's just have a look at the Mozambican shape in terms of attack, because the Mozambicans were also here on a mission to probably get some goals and get us to attack. Now, gentlemen, this is where maybe we need to give credit to Abel Zabir. Let's take off our Zambian hats for a second. Now, you've got Clesio, the number 19, versus Kapumbu on the right-hand side of the Mozambican attack. And you've got that duo between the left winger for Mozambique and Simon Silwimba. But here's where the devil is in the detail. The movement of Gasto Pelembe and Stanley Ratifo. Now, here's the thing. In between the lines, we've done away with the two defensive midfielders that you didn't want, and that was bringing a lot of debate. Gasto Pelembe now begins to play in between the lines. Now, he's in the half space and he's screening in that area. Who picks him up? If Kondwa, the number 15, goes to track Pelembe, it creates space for the two central midfielders for Mozambique to actually utilize that space, maybe get a shot from range or play some combination football and bring in Ratif or even Pelembe himself as a third man runner to actually hit us. Gentlemen, these people planned very well for us, because tactically, well, playing against the 4-4-2, and we did away with our second anchorman, and the reaction was to send Gasto Pelembe in between the lines.
I don't know who's going to agree with me that even from way before the times of John Soko and stuff, our game has always been, we reduce the game, we make it small, we make the pitch smaller. So the fullback from this side and the other side will come, we make the pitch smaller. But our opponents, even under 20, I'm sure, Coach Davis, you agree with me, when we played Italy, Ossolini was always wide. Our fullback would come inside. They'll just switch the ball to the other side, starts coming in. By the time you're starting drifting inside to come and make that balance in defense, the ball is already. That's what was happening. Faxon is it
Kapumbu.
Yeah, Faxon. He was always inside. That guy was receiving the ball all the time free. He had time.
But where do you want him to be tactically? Look, when we don't have the ball, be compact. I'm sure that's in the game plan. But again, if you decide to man mark, it creates space in the channels for the opponent to play. And we appeared not to have a reply to what Gasto Pelembe and Stanley Ratif were doing. And because of that, and this is a team that's playing 4-4-2, gentlemen. They hardly needed the central defensive midfielder to actually make that forward run so that they form a somewhat of a diamond shape in midfield. They didn't need that, David.
No, but if you look at what they did, I think one, it's because we didn't score early. So when we didn't score early, they had the belief to say maybe we can sneak something here. So what they did was they first analyzed our movements from defense to attacking. What they did was that number 19, they put him away from Kapumbu. And then when they put him, he had no one to defend, to mark. So in the end, he started moving forward. When moving forward, what Pelembe now did, drifted the side where he was coming, where he was creating that space. So what they started doing now, they allowed their wing again to stay wide and allow this one to drift back. Why did that? What they wanted that? They wanted to see how our left fullback was behaving. So in the end, he started going what? Forward. When he went forward, he created space behind. So now Pelembe, being a second striker, what he did, he moved from the top and come on the side. So which meant that Zio now should go and mark him. But if Zio goes wide, he creates what? One against one in space. So Zio hold on to the position, which he did well. But what they did now is Kapumbu to realize that he's creating space there. Because when they got the ball, they were putting the ball in between him and Zio, and they didn't do it once. They did several times. They created, but they didn't score. But all along, all in all, if we had scored those opportunities that we created, all this couldn't have happened. Because now, by us not scoring, we kept them believing that they can do something at the end of the day.
Let's look at Zambia's second half attack and what we were trying to do after those two changes. First, in this first half, we saw John Chingandu being sacrificed, and Dev Daka came on a minute into the second half. Now, gentlemen, playing out again, the Mozambicans are giving us leverage to actually play in our own half. They still maintain their medium press, and they maintain two banks of four. And it's only Stanley Ratif and Elias Pelembe who are actually putting pressure on us. But consequently, invariably, we can't keep that ball for too long. We have to play forward. Forward means long, because our lines of pass have been cancelled, Davis.
No, but if you look at the formation that they applied that day, it was a 4-4-2. So 4-4-2 meaning they had two strikers up front, they had four midfielders, four defensive the defensive line, which meant that they were compact. They came with a purpose of coming and draw. They made sure that if they score a goal, it's a bonus. To win was a bonus, but their mentality was to come not to lose, but to force a draw. If you look at the way they lined up and the way they were moving, they made sure that, first of all, they didn't want us to play. We must divert to, because they know Zambia can play football. And once we allow Zambia to play, chances of them to penetrate are big. So what they did is not to allow us playing in those sensitive areas. What they did, if you look at the way they pressed, they came deep a little bit more into our half, just to make us not to string up passes, but to divert to long balls. And they knew if you put a long ball, it's for everyone. a long ball is 50-50 because they are strong players.
So I'm also thinking. There was a time we used to debate about creativity in the central areas. That player where he's got a natural understanding with the number 6. When the ball comes from the defense, goes into the number 6, into the central creative midfielder, into the link, into the wingers, into the strikers. That was a challenge, Dennis. And I'm thinking, since when did we start playing long balls and it looked like that's our game plan, therefore? Play long, let's try to see.
Well, I thought they came with 1-4-4-2. That was 1-4-4-2 in attack. When they were defending, I think they were 1-1-6 something and 1-6. Is it 1-6? 2? Yes, somewhere there. In defense, when they were attacking with 2 strikers, 4 midfielders. So I thought even the decision that the technical made to remove one holding midfielder, maybe if we could have started like that.
So is this admit us, gentlemen, that we appear not to know how to unlock a team that defends with 2 banks of 4? Because I look at Zambian teams of old. You'd expect Chisamba to take on 3 players, eliminate them, for you to do the same, Renford to do the same. But this wasn't happening. CHINGANDU was in there, Davis.
I think
it wasn't happening.
No, I think sorry, Davis. I think when we are playing teams like that, when we use Chisamba, we use Renford. These are not natural wingers. They are not natural players that can eliminate someone and stuff. Okay, they can eliminate, but from the midfield. Not in a situation where like the way we saw these under 20s, like we saw Fashion Sakala, to take on someone, make step overs and stuff. These are not the kind. They will get a ball, take on someone, make a pass, go and look for the ball in the other space.
So, Davis,
to me, I think
we don't have the keys to unlock.
No, to me, when I look at the lineup, the players who were there, they are poor players, and I think the coach knew what he was doing, because if you look at Chisamba is a ball player, Renford is a ball player, Fuayo is a ball player. Yes, Mbesuma is a striker. Is
a
ball player as well.
Yes, but these players that was there that day, they could unlock any defense. What was needed is just coordination. Maybe that day did not click because those players, they can do wonders for this country, because they are naturally good players. But that day, I think it did not just click for them to unlock them, because they're terrific for us if you look at them.
Okay, just hold on to your thought. Let's look at the effects of Zambia's high line. We're playing a high line, and now, gentlemen, look at that space in transition. Now, like it or not, we love ball players. We love going forward. We should be able to play attractive football to the eye. But just look at that. Zio goes up, Stopila goes up, you've got Silumba goes up. And now, in transition, when Mozambique win the ball, they're able to play through the lines. And look at where Gasto Pelembe is. Again, accountability. Who picks him up at that point? Look at that space. Ratif was a very quick player. Pelembe himself, very quick. And you look at that space, perhaps the player that can track those two in terms of speed is Silwimba. But where is he? On the other side of the pitch. Game planning, Davis. Game planning.
No, but everywhere, what we always say is you cannot have two wing backs to overlap at the same time. When one goes, one tracks back.
Yeah.
You always have to defend with 3 defenders. Yeah. So you cannot have 2 players going forward at the same time. That is why in their analysis, I think at halftime, they realized that Kapumbu also is moving forward. So what they did, they started drifting to his position, his side, because they could see that is where they could get something out of that game. So they had put Pelembe to drift on that side. If you look at what they did, they went on Kapumbu's side because they knew Kapumbu was moving forward,
yeah.
leaving the central defenders behind alone. So which meant that if Pelembe moves there, Zio couldn't go and follow him because he was scared that he's going to create.
But again, that's why I'm asking Dennis and Davis here. Answer the following question,
yes,
and give answers for good reason, actually, for what you're going to say. We find ourselves in such a situation. Kondwa was doing what you expect him to do, try to provide thrust going forward in the central areas. We've lost the ball in transition. We are highlighting the acres of space behind the defense. Who picks up Gasto Pelembe? As you've said, if the number 19, Zio Tembo, goes to Pelembe, he creates space there. If Kapumbu forgets about Klesio, the number 19 there, and tries to attack Pelembe, it leaves chance for Klesio to actually go forward and run. And whilst all this is happening, it's also a 2v1, is that I'm sure it's all eyes on Gasto Pelembe, including Sto. I'm sure now he has to look at Ratif, and he has to look at where the ball is. And if you look at the goal we conceded, similar there. Gasto Pelembe gets the ball there, does a combination play on the right, the ball goes to the byline, and Mozambique score. Now, this gentleman has been going on for a while. The 2 goals we conceded against Nigeria came from the left of our defense. The goal we conceded against Cameroon came from the left of the defense. I know some people said it was Adrian Chamano had the problem. He was out of the picture, different player, same thing going on.
Yeah.
Same thing going on. So, what do we do? What do we say?
So
We've conceded leaked goals in 3 games from the exact same side.
I think from what I saw, I was watching the game, and I was thinking, all the time, Kapumbu went up. They had to give that guy, the one who was playing out wide on the right, their right. All the time we had problems because Zio had to go out wide to go and cover. Also Stopira, because if you saw the goal that they scored us, Stopira was almost out on that post. The one we say the other central defender. You're not supposed to go beyond this post.
Now, I'm also thinking, Davis. Immediately you saw Sto where he was trying to close down the Ratif. It tells you the problems we have in that back four, because Sto plays on the right hand side of the central defense. So what was he doing trying to mark a player on the near post? The exact same point that Dennis is raising.
No, but it's the movement. If you look at the time that Mozambique scored, I think we were desperate to get a goal. We are playing at home, so we had to push numbers up front. But doing so, what did we do? We exposed ourselves way at the back. So what they did now, they just took a chance. They just took a chance to find themselves there, and it happened that it's the same area, same side where we concede.